because I was thinking, oh, it's like Richard Robin, something slapping the house. No, it was a deer scratching his foot coming. Okay,
There we go.
Yeah, I'm going to hang up, she said.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
You're almost on. Oop, okay, hold on. Thanks, guys, for hanging on here. All right, let me add Dave on.
Oh,
There
there
he
I
is.
am.
If you could maybe hold it up to your face a little bit.
I didn't want to look at my belly.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, we have 20 some viewers here already.
Oh, right. Already.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool. But yeah, this is pretty cool.
All
I never
right.
did this type of podcast before. It was always been telephone interviews.
Yeah.
So,
Well, everybody's saying hi, Dave.
hi, everybody.
Now, Dave, do you think that you'll be able to figure out how to do that?
I don't know. So I have to ask my daughter, Kat, to go on this now. What do I do?
You should just be able to click the links.
Just click the link down, it automatically comes up.
I have enabled Chrome to allow those settings, and hopefully it'll work in the future.
Okay. She thinks it'll work in the future.
All right.
Well, she says we're on right now.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know, when is it on Wednesdays?
Yeah, it's Wednesdays, and yeah, it's on YouTube, the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project channel on YouTube. Oh,
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
out there, Dave, I'm the what do you call it? Computer illiterate person of the group that we hang around with, Mary and stuff, and I'm the one that usually is not around on anything because I can't get on anything anymore. I have, yeah, this is my phone, so
Yes,
that's where that comes from, and so yeah, we're computer challenged. And we're
well,
on.
thank God your daughter's there to help.
Well, I figured we were talking about it before, and it's like, yeah, we should do it while they're here,
Yes.
and that way she can get everything going. But yeah, I really enjoyed the podcast with JP. What part I seen of it, and then
Yeah.
and then Todd's always on there. I know old Todd stuff, so
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, but,
Yeah, everybody enjoys seeing Todd on there, and
yeah,
I've been
Todd,
trying to get you on here. It's
I
just
know. We we pal around a lot, and so me and Mary and JP, and so we all, when Mary's in the Allegheny National Forest area, she's usually up hanging with us or somewhere around here,
oh yeah.
and we're all well, I'm just out of the Allegheny National Forest, and I live near the research site that I met the people at a Bigfoot festival, and then we
Mm-hmm.
I went there and we seen all the weird stuff, and then I ran into you and met you, and I said, "Hey, you got to come over here and see this weird stuff."
Yes.
And then we all experienced a lot of stuff together, and
Yeah. Yeah.
what
Over the
what we
years.
call.
Yeah.
Are
Since
you getting too much feedback from them in the kitchen there? Can
not
you hear
really.
them in the
No,
kitchen?
I can hear them a little
Okay,
bit, but
I would say
it's
I could
not.
go. I could stumble down into the basement, but
No, you're fine. You're fine.
okay. But so we eventually got all together, and then I met Todd and watched his presentation on his collecting the DNA samples.
Mm-hmm.
And for quite a few years, I was seeing the DNA samples, and I didn't know what to do. Um, Basically, it likes coming in, looking in the windows, leaves snot, slobber, and handprints on windows, face prints sometimes.
Yep.
and you can't really photograph it with a cell phone. So I really had
Mm.
no. I was just trying to explain to everybody what I was seeing, and then we got Todd in there, and Todd's come up with how to capture some of the stuff and document it. Whereas
Yeah.
I think him and JP are scientists in the bunch. They come up
Yes.
with some good stuff.
Yeah, they are our
Um,
technical wizards, the two of them, JP and Todd.
yep. I'm just an old deer hunter that trips and falls over things in the woods. It's like, oh, look at while I'm down here, might as well look at this track here. And so we got some tracks there at the one research site, and a lot of imprints, which is
Yeah.
basically you can tell it was a flat foot that made that print, but there's not really any toe definition.
Yeah.
We find a lot of those there, and there's a lot of bears there too. So
Yes.
we have to discern what we're seeing. But usually the footprints we get are just so huge, just no way it's a bear. I mean, even if a bear
Yeah.
double stepped it, it's not a bear. They're just so
Yeah.
big, and so we got
Yeah. Yeah. Dave
some
is
really good stuff.
asking, where are you from?
Originally from Lorain, Ohio, um, and then I worked 30 years in Lorain, Ohio. I had to retire early because of my body falling apart, and ended up here in the Allegheny National Forest. My wife is from this area, so we had family in this area, and I wanted to move out of the city. I was a city boy my whole life. I like to hunt and fish and trap and all that stuff, and we lived on the edge of the city, so we had a semi-country area where I could do this stuff, and I wanted to go to the big woods, so I was looking for national forest areas, and we we were lucky to find a nice piece of land at the time. I retired, and just before the big housing market crashed back in 2008, we sold our properties, and we found this place up here and moved up here, built it, as you can see behind me. It's log cabin.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, and you still haven't been up here yet.
I haven't been to your place yet. No.
um, yeah, we should have a camp over here. I don't have
Yeah.
much, very little activity here. I get it occasionally.
Yeah.
Stick structure we found here a couple years ago. I get footprints every once in a while, mostly imprints, but I had a couple good footprints I found here.
Hmm.
Vocalizations occasionally. All my neighbors think I'm nuts, and then my one neighbor, who is a very religious person, she had a close encounter, and one of our grandbabies was being born, and we were out of state at the time, and her husband were keeping an eye on our house, our neighbors, and so after the baby was was born and everything, everybody was okay and everything settled down. We had I turned my phone on
Hmm.
because we were all together, so I turned my phone on, and this woman was blowing me up, trying to call me, trying to text me, and it's like, um, call, get a hold of me. So I call, and I go, what's going on? And she said, well, I saw one of your creatures, one of your animals. And I started laughing. I said, well, I thought you said they didn't exist. He was only 50 feet away. He was big. He was 8 foot
Wow.
tall. And she said it was a boy. I saw you noticed that too, huh? And she goes, oh yeah, it was a boy. And so they were staring at each other for about 15 minutes. And then she had, was putting chickens away in her chicken coop because we have coyotes, like most of Pennsylvania, from what I understand, it's really bad.
Yeah.
We're here. We live by the Akeley Swamp in Akeley, Pennsylvania, and so we have eagles, and we have hawks, and we have fishers and everything else. I don't know how these farmers around keep. Well, they lose quite a few chickens and a lot of other animals
Yeah.
because of the predators. And so, anyways, she was putting her chickens away for the night, and it was actually it was just before Christmas. It was real warm, and she heard something coming through the leaves down by her creek where it goes next to her house. And she had her, what is it, 1,000 candle spotlight? I don't know what it is. She turned her light on, and there was this thing standing there looking at her. And so she pretty much observed everything, kept it under control, and she said it kept on blinking, so it's so bright, and its eyes kept on blinking faster and faster and faster. Then it was looking away because it was probably hurting its eyes. But
Probably,
anyway,
yeah.
she said to start moving. Yeah, it was moving around, and she got scared, like it's thinking of doing something. So she was only 50 foot from her door, so she hightailed it in the house and locked the door and turned on all the spotlights. And yeah, she's lived there her whole life basically, and she's 70 some years old. She's never seen anything like this. And so, anyways, it took off up the mountain, up the stream, up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny part was, she goes, because she was calling me all summer. I keep on hearing this bird down by your house. You know what kind of bird it is? And I said, I haven't really heard anything. She goes, just about dark, I hear this whistle, and I don't know what kind of bird it is.
Yep.
Well, she's seen this thing, was going up the creek behind her barn, and she said, heard the whistle. Then she realized it's not a bird. It was this thing here.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually, she figured it out. And so, and then that whistled behind her barn and on top of the mountain here. It goes up, I think it's 2,100 feet, 700 feet where I'm at. So 2,100 up on top of the hill. And something answered, answering whistle on top of the hill. I said, yeah, they usually travel in twos, threes, family groups. And so that was her experience. And her husband shortly thereafter put on all kinds of spotlights on her property. I know when she's out at night because it looks like a football stadium lit up there.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it scared her pretty good. I asked her, I just talked to her the other day, and I say, have you heard or seen anything? She goes, no, it's been quiet other than for the wolf. And we're getting a vocalization here that I've heard several times the last few weeks. It's not a coyote. It sounds like a classical wolf, real deep baritone, really
Really
nice hop. Yeah, so it
interesting.
it's not a coyote. So
Yeah.
maybe it could be our Bigfoot friend. You know, they do all kinds of vocalizations, but
Keep talking. Let
I
me
have
go off screen for a second. Keep talking.
so okay. So what was just keep an eye out for tracks and stuff. We do have one game camera that my son-in-law put up. Haven't caught anything abnormal on that as of yet. Our experiences with cameras is basically, I think they can see, most of your game cameras are fired by infrared, and I think they can see the infrared light. And we've had camera traps, we've had interlocking fields of view and stuff at the one research site that we all go to. I think Todd calls it the R&R site.
Yes.
And
Yeah, that's what he calls it.
yeah, and JP is our camera guy, and we try interlocking views of, I would say, fields of fire, but one camera covering the other camera covering the other camera. We don't get
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing we captured was, I don't know if anybody ever shared the leg. Did you ever see the fuzzy leg? The furry leg?
Yes. I
Yes. Well,
saw
we don't know if
that.
that was
And yeah, the
yeah,
leg
it
and
could
the
have been a
cat.
bear leg. Yeah.
It's possible, although
Yeah,
the
the
cat was in
cat,
there
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So if it was a bear,
The spooky cat.
I don't think the cat would be in there if it was a bear. So
I don't think so either. And we
yeah,
think the fat cat is friends with these creatures that hang around there.
it would
And
have to be as long as he survived there.
yeah, I was so my history was I ran into him in Ohio when I was a teenager back in 1974, and we chased him around from 74 to 77 out in Ohio,
Mhm.
and that's when I believe that they were real creatures. and I have got stories all over the place on that. Then I come
Yeah.
up here after I retired, and then I had a crossing here because I've really never had any Bigfoot activity. The part of Pennsylvania where I used to hunt,
Hmm.
up in the Allegheny National Forest, dead center of that national forest. But now there's some activity up there now that we didn't have back then.
Huh.
But anyway, so I had that crossing sighting, and then I was working for Allegheny Outfitters, and so I'm hauling. I was a river guide for a while, for 10 years, and putting people out in the river and picking them up, and sometimes even floating down with them. I was a historical storyteller, um, so some people wanted the local history. I'd float down the river, I'd tell the stories about the river and stuff, and
Mhm.
but anyways, I'm in the van with people, and people always want to know about the area and stuff, so I tell history stuff. And then when I was at the Bigfoot stuff, I mentioned that. The next thing I know, a lot of people have seen him up here.
Yeah.
Um, Last count, I lost count. There's about 366 people since 2013 have told me their Bigfoot stories here in Allegheny National Forest.
That's amazing. Now, you were on Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah, back March 2013, Bigfoot in the Redhead episode.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the infamous,
so I
well,
became
yeah, the
I
episode
became
in the Allegheny National Forest
yeah,
with
yeah,
the little boy, the redheaded boy.
yes, he stole
Yeah.
the show.
Yes. Yes.
And Cliff Barackman was the one that interviewed me, and basically that creature came out. So I drive this road almost every day, picking people off. So this is a Route 62. Those of you who are local here, Route 62 below uh, the right there by the Buckaloons campground area,
Okay.
and so between there and Tidiute, there's an island down there called Thompson's Island. And it was at the tip of Thompson's Island. There's a game trail there. They come down the other side of the valley. Um, it's a game trail. Then it crosses the river. The deer and everything cross the river there, the tip of the island. So basically, you swim the river, tip of the island, rest. Then they swim the rest of the river. Then they go back and forth, east and west. So there's usually granddaughter's a little bit crabby, getting tired,
Aw.
but um, so over the years, there's a slight little hill, and there's a curve there, and seems like there's always roadkill there, or something standing in a road, a deer, or bear, or
Yeah.
And it was morning. It was late May, I believe it was, when it happened back in 2010. So I had to going down to Tidiute. I had a load of kayaks. These people were going to camp. I drop them off at the Inzua Dam, and they traverse the 15 miles of the river to Tidiute to their cars, and basically they camp on the islands on the way down. So I think those people were taking a 3-day trip. And what happened was, so I'm all loaded up, cruising through there. It was kind of a foggy morning along the river, and I come around that curve and over that little bit of hill. I slow down because I'm sure I was going to be dodging roadkill or
Yeah.
something standing in the road. And what happened was, here comes Mr. Bigfoot. He come out of the riverside. He was still wet. He stepped over a guardrail. I'm 6 foot tall, and that guardrail comes up to my belly button. He didn't hop, skip, or jump. He stepped right over it, crossed in front of the truck. I was driving a 1-ton 15 passenger van, and I stopped. And when you're sitting in that big vans in those seat, your eyes are about 6 feet off the ground. He's about 15 foot in front of the vehicle, crossing in front of me, across the road in about 3 steps. In order for
Yeah.
me to see the top of his head, I had to lean over in the seat and took my hat off to see the side of his head as he was going by.
Hmm.
And he crossed the road and he hit the ditch the other side. He was going uphill out of the river, uphill going east. So I pulled up right next to him, and he's maybe 15 feet away going the other way.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at butt and his back and everything. And he's going up the hill, and I could see the muscles moving underneath his hair and everything. And
Mhm.
so he went up
What
the
color
hill, and
did you say he was?
he was a charcoal, more of a charcoal gray one, not really black, but like a
Mhm.
dull black, like a charcoal gray is the best way I can describe him.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I could see the muscles in his butt and in his legs and in his back and his shoulders. I could see the movement, and
Yeah.
this is like, wow! I wish I had a camera. I'm sitting there with my cell phone on my hip. I didn't even think my mind was blank. I didn't
Yeah.
think of trying to get a picture or anything. I just was just awed at how close
Yeah.
I was. That was the closest I've been to one.
Yeah.
At our side, I've been about 30 feet away from one
Yeah.
once, and but that was in daylight. Um, so we're in the hills here, and so in the morning, that was the shady side of the hill. So the cold air comes down, thermals, and on the sunny side of the hills, the thermals go up. So I could smell them. Very pungent smell. The best way I kind of describe everybody. Think of the worst homeless person you've ever had in front of you at Walmart, and he, yeah, it smells like that with a little bit more skunky odor to it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it went up the hill. I lost sight of it, and there was a truck. There was 18 wheeler behind me. He stopped. He blew his horn. It's like he had to see that thing. So I got off the road so he could go by, and then I turned that between the van and the trailer. It's about 40 feet long, and I'm turning it around in somebody's driveway. I backed into the driveway and I drove back and stopped and got out, and I looked and I could see wet footprints on the road.
Yeah.
And then I looked at my watch and go, oh, I better I'm supposed to meet these guys at 6:30. I better get going. So, and that was it. So of course, I'm telling Bigfoot stories when I'm driving and stuff, and then Finding Bigfoot crew was here in 2013, and I was working for Allegheny Outfitters. And the funny thing is, their MO. This is how they work. So they go to the local bars and they ask people, "Do you know anybody that's seen Bigfoot?" They buy people some drinks and stuff and get people talking.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's this old guy that works down there at Allegheny Outfitters. They call me Grandpa Dave because I was the oldest employee. And yeah, Grandpa Dave down at Allegheny Outfitters. And so, anyways, I'm working one day, and this guy comes walking in. He said, "You Grandpa Dave?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, I understand you had a Bigfoot sighting. I says, "Which one?" And he goes, "Well, how many you got?" And I told him about my Ohio days. He goes, "Oh, the one I'm concerned about was the one up here that crossed in front of you here a couple of years back." And I said, "Yeah." So I told him the story, and he says, "I like that. Um, when do you get off work?" And I told him. He says, "Could you take me where it happened?" And I took him there and showed him, and he liked it. So he said, "We can film this one." He said, "We're definitely going to film this one." So then I was on the show, and people start seeking me out and telling me their stories.
Mhm.
And then we had um, then I used to go historic storytelling at a place called it is the Kenzua Heritage Festival up
Yeah.
in Russell, PA, and I was storytelling up there. And we have Native Americans, the Seneca Nation, come down. Usually does dance and performances and stuff. And so I got some friends in the Seneca Nation, and I started getting stories from them, which they don't usually tell non-members of the tribe. And I know some of the elders, and getting a lot of information from them, and with
Yeah.
over 360 stories. And Mary is at the festival. We're at the festival, and people come up to us and tell me their stories at the festival.
Yep.
Some years we just get a few, some years we get 50. And not only Bigfoot, 360 some Bigfoot stories, and more of that, probably close to 370 now. And we get some UFO stuff. Another fun thing we get is spirit light activity, which
Oh,
I think all of us have seen
yes.
out of our little Bigfoot group. We actually have them here in my yard. We've got 80 acres. I got 6 acres of lawn that I cut with 400 trees in it. I got a creek just north of the house, and um, not only do the deer and all the animals follow those creeks, which are heavily brushed,
Hmm.
coming off that mountain that's like corridor. So every 200, 300 yards is a little creek. And that's where these creatures come down. They use the same game trails as the deer coming up and down into the swamp. And we see a lot of, that's where most of our activity is where I'm at. And the same thing, I swear to God that the spirit lights follow the same trails that the Bigfoot and the other animals follow. I mean, we noticed that at the
Yeah.
R&R site. At the R&R site, we've been together, 4 or 5 of us, sometimes 6, and we're sitting by the fire, and we see these spirit lights, and we see, the Bigfoot activity,
Mhm.
vocalizations, grunts, knocks, whistles. Um, sometimes they get
Handprints.
huh?
Handprints.
Handprints, nose prints, and then sometimes they
Yes.
get boisterous. Usually
Yeah.
they like picking on Todd for some reason. I think they have Todd because Todd's always putting things out for them to play with. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on there, but
Yeah,
it's
I
funny.
don't
It's funny.
know. I think because they know that they can
They pick
agitate
on
him.
him, agitate him. Plus, I think he gets excited a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
he gets
I
obviously
haven't.
excited. Yeah.
Yes, and whereas most of us are kind of laid back. We don't
Yeah.
get too excited.
Yes,
But I
so
was,
we don't give
so
them
Todd,
that feedback, and I think that's what it is, the
yeah.
feedback, and so
Well,
that's why.
yeah, the person that lives there, the lady that lives there, I'll call and talk to her. I talked to her last night. I talked to her today, actually.
Mhm.
Did you see did she send you the latest picture she
N
got?
No, no, she
I
told me
can't really
about them,
see
but
him. My little phone. I can't really see it, but it looks like one of we call them shadow people there. So
okay.
think of uh, so your listeners, think of these Bigfoot cutouts that everybody has in their yard, the silhouettes. That's what we see. We see these silhouettes running around,
Mhm.
and so basically it's a picture of big upright shadow, and it looks like it's pulling a deer, dragging a deer. Looks like a
Really?
deer head. That's what I
Interesting.
see on my little phone. I
Okay.
got to go over there.
Yeah,
JP's going to be there this weekend, so um, I don't
yeah,
know if I could break away. I got all kinds of family stuff going on, but I'd like to go up there and try to get it on the big screen and see what we can
yeah,
see.
and I'm gonna be away that weekend, so, yeah,
Well,
I'm
then
not
Todd's coming. Todd's supposed to be down. Him and what was that guy's name?
Logan.
Who? Logan.
Logan. Yeah,
Logan's going to be there. And
yeah.
Todd, if you're watching this, I'm going to be there too.
Yeah, I
So
don't
I'm
see
gonna,
Todd
yeah,
on here.
we're gonna
Not
have
in the
we're in a discussion, so to speak, and I just want to be there because
Yeah,
I feel responsible for most of us going there, and
yeah,
I want to make sure that they're represented.
I agree.
Let's put
Yeah,
it this way: I will ask questions, and and I'm sure Todd doesn't want to mess with get them upset either, but try to
yeah,
find. I'd like to get something like that there, but we got to find some common ground on how to set the thing up. So we'll see if they allow it, and we'll see what happens. I'm afraid that it's going to scare it away because I don't know if they scare them away. There's 3 of them there for sure.
yeah.
Um, I don't
Oh,
know.
there
With
he
the
is.
cameras, how who is it?
There's Todd. Yep, Todd is in here now. Whoop.
So yeah, so I'll be there with you and Logan. Rich and Robbins. So I'll stop by and visit. We'll have our little powwow and see how we can work that thing out. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Robin's watching this. Hi, Robin.
Yeah,
But
I sent her, yeah, I sent a text out and I let her know about the podcast and to send me those photos.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're just a lot of stuff going on there, and we still don't figure it out. We don't. I don't know what's going. I don't know what we're experiencing there. If
Yeah,
it's
I don't think that with all of JP's cameras that he's put out, I truly don't think that, the ones, that Logan puts out, I honestly don't think that they'll,
I don't know how they work. That's what I got to find out.
yeah,
That's what the only thing I'm worried about. That is if it's has something to do with the infrared type stuff. And if it would scare the activity away. I mean, we still have the activity. It hasn't scared it away.
yeah,
It just changes its routine around the cameras.
yeah.
And
Well,
as far as talking with Todd, I think they're in the army mode. These things are on their all fours, and I even think they're belly crawling on us.
yeah, I think so
Um,
too. Uh,
so they're pretty stealthy.
yeah, as much as that, especially around the trucks and the garage, once they get closer to the house, of course.
Yeah, all of us have had handprints.
Yeah.
Um, my favorite one was I was there for dinner one night, and we're sitting there, and Robin happens to look out there, and the lady there said, "Hey, don't watch out when you go out there. There's a bear by your truck," and it was low, and
Mhm.
so I go out there, and it wasn't a bear. There was handprints on my truck, and Todd, and I think Robin was the first one that did it, but then Todd followed through. They put a bunch of Christmas ornaments out, and they all disappeared. So when I go out to my truck that night, on my windshield wiper, under the windshield wiper is a Christmas bulb. And for those that want to gift them, make sure you're using plastic Christmas bulbs because we're afraid to eat the glass ones.
Yeah, yeah, you
We
don't
figure
want
the plastic ones won't kill them as quick. I don't know.
that.
But
Okay, yeah,
they seem to like them.
Todd says that,
Yeah.
we will continue to vet everything first and foremost
Yeah,
in the best
we'll figure it
interest.
out. I mean, this
Yeah,
is the hottest hot spot we have.
yeah,
Todd also has a very good hot spot up in
yeah.
New York, and it's pretty rugged. And I don't know if he told you the stories of the handprints on the lower part of his truck.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I figured. So we're out there running around. He's got his side by side, and we come. I don't remember. We had to get battery something. We had to go back to the truck. So we come roaring down this lane on this property, and so we get to the truck, and Todd gets the batteries or whatever he needs, and so we're walking around there, and then we leave. So it's a few days later. Todd's checking his truck over for handprints because we get a lot of handprints and face prints no matter where we go.
Yeah,
Uh, we were at a campground with one of your campground things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we had not only handprints, we had dents in a camper.
Yes,
Like
they were
10 feet
throwing gravel
So
and
we get a
rocks,
lot of activity. They're very curious,
and they were
and they'll come
rocking the
right up.
campers.
Yeah, yeah. And this, I mean, we have a lot of fun, and some of this stuff we don't until later. And poor Todd was washing his truck, and
Yeah, he says they were
yeah,
stealing
stealing
his
the guy.
photo.
And he said, Dave, there's handprints on the bottom of my truck. I said, oh, we were in the wrong hood. I think they were stealing your catalytic converter. I says, you do know that thing was probably under the truck while we were standing there. We were just inches away from him.
Yeah,
And it's like, so now we're all paranoid. We look under the trucks.
I do no
Um,
matter what, always.
yeah. Well,
I learned that a long time ago.
and over at R&R site, the camper that they have over there, I
Yes.
think it goes underneath the camper.
that thing is high enough. Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
see why not.
And it's very curious. It's never been belligerent to us. There's we got,
Yeah,
I call them Blackie,
yeah,
Brownie, and Whitey.
yeah.
And I've seen Blackie and Brownie, but I've never seen Whitey. But we find white hair around the house, and
Okay.
yeah, and Todd's got all those DNA samples and stuff off of that, and the tree that he was talking about, the thing sitting there eating when I was watching him here a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
that we found white hair in that tree. So
They're
yeah,
like
that's what he's
trolls.
saying. And it's just wild what's happening. And then we were discussing some tracks. I wasn't there. I had some stuff going on. Todd found some funny tracks in the snow, and he was telling me what they were. And I says, I think you found knuckle prints. I think they he found toe and knuckle prints. They were on all fours, and they were going across that field. And then we also got to get together. I got that one video. It's on my FLIR that
Oh yeah.
my family members looked at it. Somebody thinks it's some sort of quad, but to me it looks like a buffalo. But then my son says that looks like a silverback gorilla, the way it's moving and the way it's shaped.
Oh.
So we don't know. We had to get on screen. The family looked at it, and so we had like three different. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I can see that. So we don't know what we got. But that night, she was getting pictures, or on her FLIR. She has a FLIR thing on her phone. There's something behind that tree watching us,
Mhm.
and so I had my FLIR, and I was just standing there for 30 minutes, just pointing at that tree. And I didn't notice it. My son put it up on the big screen. We're looking. I said, "Yeah, there was something behind this tree." And he goes, "What was that?" I said, "What was what?" He says, "Over here, back in the corner." And it was that field, and this thing went going across that field. And so it was if it was a vehicle, it didn't have lights on.
Mhm.
And we didn't hear it. It was only 70 yards away, and we should have heard tires on that lane that goes past there. And same with yellow squeaky rubber chicken. Yeah, I'm reading Todd stuff. Yeah, we had all kinds of crazy stuff happen over there.
So rubber chicken. Okay.
Yeah,
Why not? Why not?
I mean we do stupid stuff, and
Hey,
it
you got,
works. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know wherever its lair is. It's going to have Christmas ornaments, toys. Uh, it's gonna be pretty cool if we ever find it.
Probably
Um,
has all these toys tucked up on little
yeah,
ridges, little rock shelves in its cave.
yeah. And then they had all those what do you call them? Those beads that
Yes, that's right. All the
yes,
beads
all
that
those.
Robin puts up.
So if you see a Sasquatch in Northwest Pennsylvania wearing beads, you know where they came from.
Mardi Gras beads. Okay, your number and date each rubber chicken. Oh my goodness.
So
Oh, man.
we have a lot of fun actually. I haven't
Yeah.
been scared there.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually when I'm out, I do have a revolver on me, and
Yeah.
I have never pulled it. I mean, we've had some hairy stuff happen, but I've never felt threatened. I've been lucky. Um, Mary and some of her people with her camp outs and stuff have been charged. What do you call it? False charged,
Left charged. Yeah.
roaring, snapping trees, coming down the hill,
Yeah.
and Todd's had several experiences with his place up in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Same thing, but
Yep.
I've never had that. Even out in Ohio, I've never had anything be belligerent towards me. Um, Weird stuff on Dave's window. The rubber chickens. Yeah, okay, I see what he's saying. Or they put it under the windshield wiper, so I wouldn't miss it. instead of a parking ticket, it was a Christmas ball. It's like, wow, that just didn't fall there. Somebody had to set that.
Oh,
But then there was
that's right. Yeah.
the traditional big handprints like were on your truck.
Yes.
And so my
Yeah,
new pickup truck is actually an old pickup truck. I have a 1985 2500 GMC K 2500, whatever it is, Sierra or whatever. It's old and it's black, and I have a camper cap on it, so there's plenty of windows. And when I go over there next time, I'll make sure it's good and dirty when it goes over, so it's easy to see those prints. When the
Yeah.
cars are clean, it's hard to see sometimes, but if the car is dirty, you usually see them right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
all of us were in the house, and that one time, well, the time that I think I was there when they did your truck. That
Yeah,
was
you
during the
were.
Marionville Festival, I think.
Yes. Yeah,
And
it
we were,
was.
yeah, and
Yeah, we were all there. Well,
yeah, we
except for
were all there. We were
JP.
inside, and we come out, and
Yeah.
I think Todd was the one, or did you? Who noticed it first? Todd, I thought. Come here and
Yeah.
look at this.
Had it been Todd.
Yeah, but he went out and
Yeah.
check because they love his truck. Um, I don't know if he gets as much action on his white truck or his black truck. I have a black truck, and your
Yeah.
truck was a dark color too. So
Yeah, it was it's dark blue. I think the reason why I think Todd went off first because they whacked the tonneau cover on my truck. You know,
I think
remember
that's right. Yeah,
yeah, they hit that tonneau cover and alerted us that hey, we're here.
we're here. Well, how come you guys are in the house and not by the fire so we can throw pebbles at you? That's another
Yeah,
thing I like doing.
exactly. Yeah, we're being too boring.
And then the lady and her husband are there, and I call them every once in a while, and they're sitting on the porch with the speakerphone on, and then she says, I'll hear a tree knock. It's like, Dave, they hear your voice. They're like, where's he at? Oh, that's funny. Yeah. He said he heard the motion detector between the house and garage first.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I mean, all of us have had experiences there.
Yep.
The window, the old fellow there, I shouldn't call him old because he's the same age as me. But he's one of those guys that likes watching TV and falling asleep in his easy chair next to a window.
Yep.
And he'll wake up at night. They do that with me now, so they're getting used to Todd. And so
Yep.
I was sitting there. We were watching TV. I was staying over the night, and we were watching westerns. And so, anyways, I hear, um, you know, Mr. R over there, he's snoozing away, and
Yep.
he's snoring away, and I just watching the windows. I got all the cats and the dogs, and they had several dogs at that time. So everybody's sitting on my lap, and I'm watching TV, and I happen to glance over at the window, and I see eyes shine right there at the window.
Mm.
And when I turned my head to look, it backed away from the window. I'm like, oh my God, it's right there. It's right there. So then I'm like, Rich, wake up. Rich, wake up. They're right there. And so he woke up, and I says, it's right outside the window. Look up. He says, well, I can't see it because of the reflection from the TV on the
Oh,
glass.
yeah. Yeah.
But it was, I mean, its face was right there on that
Well,
window. And that's where we
he-
get a lot of the stuff from.
Yeah, he was watching Rich sleeping.
Yeah. And they have a fish tank right there. He likes watching the fish tank too.
Yeah.
There's last time, a couple times ago, on that window there, they start opening the curtain on that window so it gets up and close personal with the fish tank. So
You giving it a better view.
I mean, it's pretty. I like looking at the fish tank. So, but I mean, it was right there. I mean, if the window was open,
Yeah.
I mean, Rich could have reached out and tickled his belly, and it's like, wow. It's like, yeah. And it doesn't bother him.
No, they don't. Yeah, they just look in the windows and
Mhm.
toss pebbles and leave their
Pound on the
handprints
house.
in
They,
those prints.
they like
Yeah,
messing with us, pounding on
yeah,
the house, and everybody it's been
yeah,
there. In fact, the first night I was there with you and
yeah,
JP. Remember that? The big, like, what
yes,
was sad? We all got up
yep.
and
Yeah, we were
that
sitting
was,
around the fire and,
yeah, in a
and
snowstorm.
yeah, it pounded on the ramp, I think, or the side of the house,
Yeah.
and to get our attention.
It sounded like the whole house rattled that night too.
Yeah, 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 I caught that on my recorder, and, yeah, we tested it the following morning, to figure out, okay, where was, the sound coming from, and it sounded like the ramp, like something, pounded, on the ramp.
Yeah. Yeah, that
But
back deck, they love that. And it
yeah,
has to hop over that back deck rail to get on there
yeah,
um and hit the house, but they're gone so quick. The only time I ever seen anything on that deck was I was in JP was staying in his room. I
yeah,
was out in the camper.
mhm.
And so I come in for breakfast and JP's gone. Well, he went to town to get on a Wi-Fi. Back slapping your bedroom window,
Oh,
breaking it
yeah,
4 times now. Yeah, that might happen. It might break a window. I mean, way it hits that house, the whole house moves.
yeah,
So,
uh,
hey,
uh,
you'll be able to get some good DNA, Todd, when it cuts its hand on the window when it breaks.
yeah, oh my goodness, eh, that just freaks
That's
me
not
out
good
that
because
they're
they just got
no,
new windows on their house too.
yeah, boy.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they're just getting way too bold there, and
Yeah, we were discussing this, and yeah, they're not afraid of the people, and they're not afraid of us, evidently. And
yeah,
like I said, long as they stay nice and everything, and hopefully
and
everything will go all right.
yeah, so far they are, it's just a little mischievous things, but then, it's like the backhanded slapping on the bedroom window. They don't realize apparently that they can break that glass, and
Yeah.
I pray that they don't. That's gonna be kinda hard to explain to the insurance company.
My favorite was they used to have those um, skylights, and
Yes.
so it was in one of it. It gets boisterous sometimes, and like before it really was doing all the house slapping, it used to throw rocks on the tin roof. And what happened was the bigger and bigger rocks, and they broke a skylight.
Oh,
It was leaking, so they called somebody to come in and fix the skylight. And the guy came to fix the skylight, and he goes, "What's up with all the rocks on your roof?" And I said, "Well, it's our Bigfoot." And the guy says, "Alrighty then, let's fix the house. There you get. Here's the bill. Bye." He got out of there. I don't know if he thought they were nuts or maybe he was afraid, like, "Uh-oh, this ain't good."
yeah,
But the
maybe.
rocks got bigger and bigger, and then they haven't done that in a while. They haven't. They've been staying with
Yeah,
the pebbles now. So
yeah,
Todd has
okay,
it on video that one night me and him were there, um, and they were on vacation, and we stayed in the house overnight and experienced some stuff. And
okay,
what was I put fish, fish there. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He's always doing something, and
yeah, and the pounding comes from
yeah, it's
underneath it,
underneath the
so
porch. We figured it was scooted under the porch.
yeah,
And he's, and it's like, wow, that has to be a young one because
yeah,
that big 9-footer is not going to fit under that
no,
porch. I don't think.
yeah,
I
must
don't
be
think I
that
could fit under that porch.
yeah, it's that smaller
It's a young
brown
one. It
one,
has to be.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Reddish
Blackie,
brown or
Brownie, and
whatever,
Whitey. Yeah.
yeah,
And I never seen Whitey other than a flash through the woods. So
yeah,
I don't even know how big that one is. Maybe it's the young one. I have no idea. I don't know what.
yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah, I don't know which one it was that JP was chasing, that one day,
oh, we got to set
zigzagging.
up. shadow picture. Yeah, there was 4 of us there when that happened.
Well, there,
Well, it was
you and
3 of
I were
us. There was 3 of
sitting,
us standing there. We saw it,
yeah,
and then JP was out in the woods, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
told him, JP, it's heading north. So he come out of the woods and he crossed. And he went north and cut it off, and he pushed it back in front of us. And that's after Todd found what we call our windows
mm-hmm,
where
yep,
they watch the house.
yep,
So to think of a deer trail, only it's not a deer trail. It's maybe 3 or 4 feet off the ground. And it's like a hole cleared, like
mm-hmm,
all the way back, like 150 yards in the woods where they can stand back and watch us.
mm-hmm.
And it crossed it. And I said, there it is. And then it stopped. And then I yelled at uh, Robin to take the pic right there now. And she took that picture and that was a pretty good picture of that shadow thing.
Okay,
And
yeah,
that's what I said. They look like those cutouts. And that's what we're seeing. And they move
yeah,
very fast.
yes, they do.
And
Very,
as big as they
very,
are and fast they're moving, they don't make too much noise.
no, I know it's amazing just how quiet they can be. Yeah, because we were out on a gravel road down in Oklahoma and couldn't hear them. Couldn't hear them on that gravel.
Well, if they got big flat feet, I mean, what's the name? I can't remember the name of that. Was a white hunter Rourke, maybe O'Rourke or Rourke? There was a story that I loved. A white hunter was over in Africa. So the elephants come into the villages and eat the dates out of the trees.
Mhm.
And what happens at a certain time of the year, the dates start getting fermented. So then you have drunk elephants running around, and they destroyed the village, killed some people. So they called the white hunter to come in there and take care of the situation.
Mhm.
So this one belligerent bull elephant, he was the one that killed everybody. He stomping everybody and running over houses and the huts and everything else. So he tracked him down into this woodlot, like jungle woodlot, and he was in there, and the thing was moving around, circling him. And he just every once in a while I hear a slight whisper of a snap. Well, anyways, he goes over where he last heard the noise, and he was standing there. Him and his gun bearer were standing there, and he looked over and he noticed that the one tree had toenails. The elephant was right above him. They didn't see it because of the thick canopy.
Yeah.
And basically, what he did, he just put his gun up and shot the elephant under the chin,
Oh,
and didn't kill it. He wounded it, and it got a hold of his gun barrel and killed him.
mm,
But the whole time, he said, when it was moving through the woods, he couldn't hear it. So you're talking, 10, 12,000 pound animals sneaking around, and it's their big feet, and it
yes.
muffles. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the same thing with the Bigfoot.
Yeah. Dave says O'Rourke, and yeah,
Yep.
trying to
Yep.
think.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I read that in high school. I think that is
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then they got a hold of him and was slapping him up against the trees. I broke his pelvis and a couple of legs and arm. And he was
Oh,
in a rage because he just shot it, and it
yeah.
was beating him on trees, and he threw him up in the air. And the only reason he lived was because he got caught in the tree branches and it couldn't get him. So it was trying to tear
Oh,
down the tree. And then, so the natives were afraid to go in there, and they waited till they couldn't hear the elephant. The elephant succumbed to the gunshot wound, but he still spent a night in the tree with all those broken bones.
wow. Oh my. Yeah. Todd says I told him
I saw that.
that.
Yeah, that's up where his spot is.
Ron
Really good
Short's
spot up
moment.
there.
Yeah, Todd.
Yeah. Yeah, we when we were up there, he took me up there, and they were throwing rocks at us, and we were collecting hair, and they didn't want us to be where we were at.
Yeah.
So it was pretty invigorating. So Todd says, "I'm going to get the hair off the fence. You watch." And did see some shadows down in there, but they
Mhm.
didn't come up out of that. There's a gully there. They were tossing
Yeah.
rocks near us, maybe 3 or 4 rocks. I can't remember, but
Okay. Keep talking. I'm going to go off screen for a second.
all right. So anyways, we had a lot of fun doing this. And like I said, a lot of stuff we can't explain. And we're waiting. Todd Smith has collected over 150, I'm sure I'm wrong, um, DNA samples. And he's got them out for testing and we're waiting a result. I gotta get a drink here. So anyways, oh
Sorry.
yeah, I gotta get a drink here. I'm talking myself dry. I gotta set this
I
down for a
know.
second.
Okay. Yeah, I usually keep a drink with me, but I wasn't expecting to be um,
I was
I
surprised that
didn't
you were
come
on now
prepared.
and all of a sudden doing the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically,
Todd,
Mary was helping me set up this so I could be on her podcast. And my
yeah,
daughter and husband are here, and both of them are computer IT people. So,
that's
and they
good.
had problems. They had problems. So that's telling me something. That's not just me.
Oh,
But
yeah, Todd, oops, wait a minute. Todd asked to tell the laser story.
which one? Todd, are you talking about the R&R site time, or are you talking about up in the Wellsville? Todd,
Let's see.
he had this laser, and it was the most powerfulest laser that a civilian could own, and he would shine it around up in the air through the woods and the treetops. And it kind of excites them, gets their attention, and they move in on us. Just out of sight, and we'll hear them. Free knocks and stuff every once in a while.
Okay, after collecting hair off the barbed wire fence.
I don't know. I'm having a senior moment, Todd.
Yeah, just tell whichever, continue with the one that you do remember.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, they're at R&R site, and then we had um, I mean, we've had spirit lights. We've seen those. We had our big green fireball UFO. That's a good story.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
missed that one, but I talked with you on the phone, I think, right after it.
right after it happened, yeah. So me and Todd are standing there, and it was a cold winter night, and we're out there, and I can believe we had some vocalizations, and we were hoping that they would come in. And so he's filming with, I believe he had his cameras, the one camera set on the FLIR mode, the uh, pick up heat. And so we were standing there, and I had my little FLIR, a little FLIR scope,
Mhm.
and it was really cold, and I didn't see anything. I was using it for a while, so I shut it down, and put it in my shirt because batteries don't last long when it's cold. And I'm tucking it in my shirt, and I'm looking down, and all of a sudden the ground is green. It's like, what is going on? So I'm looking around, and I realize there's a light above us, and I look straight up, and there's this big green fireball. So if you put your hand, at arm's length, and what your big thumb, or your thumbnail looks like, was about that size. And it was slowly, it wasn't a meteor, it was a big, slow green fireball going through the sky. So I said, Todd, up. And he tried filming it with the FLIR, but didn't pick anything up. So it was nothing on film. So this thing went down to the horizon. And I said, I think that thing landed over there by that swamp. Todd said, oh, no. That's just the horizon. That's just the line of sight type thing. And it did land in that swamp. So we're out there about 45 minutes later. We're still looking around. I happened to look over towards that swamp. and all the tops of the trees are glowing green. I said, Todd, look at the swamp. And he says, "Oh my God," So he's trying every camera trick, pulling out cell phones and his other cameras, and we couldn't document that tree glow at that distance, but we could see it with our eyes.
Really?
So yeah,
Wow.
so ET landed in that swamp. Then
Hmm.
I think that's where the Bigfoots are. I don't know, must have been treat time, or maybe they're going to take a ride or something. I don't know.
Who knows?
Anymore, I have UFOs and spirit lights and all that stuff like they have on what's that one show, that ranch, Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, Skinwalker, yeah.
Yeah. And we start getting some of that stuff, and it's like, oh my God, what's going on? And I don't know if the little spirit lights are something to do with plasma or electrical currents coming from the earth or what, but I was at Richard over at when I see him here, I usually pull out a compass, and if there's any anomalies, that you get a compass spin and there's something going on, and that's happened a couple spots that when I've seen these lights, these paranormal lights. Uh, Todd is an ex Ghostbuster. I don't know if he's told your viewers that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he picks some of this activity up on he has an EMF meter sometimes carries. Yes, green columns of light at Wellsville.
Also, yeah.
Yep. I wasn't with him when that happened, but I had a similar green, or mine was a white column of light. It was up here at the Heritage Festival. Stayed up with the boys and the girls up there, and late night just hanging around, having a good old time. And
Mhm.
it's after midnight. I was driving home, and I'm on top of the mountain up here, about 3 miles from my house, and I see a column of white light coming through the hills. And it's like, what am I seeing? What is that? And I'm looking up. I couldn't see anything. It was just a beam of light coming from space. Wasn't very bright. So it moved across the mountains and was coming right for me. And it crossed, and I have an open Jeep, so I could see the sky.
Mhm.
And it was right about 30, 40 yards in front of me. The light crossed. Was cows on one side of the road and horses on the other. Nobody disappeared. And it was pretty weird. And I don't know what I saw. I don't know what it was and where it came from, but I watched it. It moved in front of me and moved across, and I watched it go across the hills 4 or 5 miles away before I couldn't see it no more. And it was moving in a straight line. I thought maybe it was some sort of uh, Elon Musk's toys or something. I don't know what it was. I don't know what I noticed. What it was. I don't know. So a lot of strange stuff up here.
There truly are. That entire area up there is just, all kinds of different stories and different things going on, and you collect them all. You collect
Yeah.
all the
But
stories.
the one I like is the Seneca Little People stories. They're
Yes,
and I got 10 of those, and only one of those is from a Seneca Nation member, and the rest were mostly cops um, doing mic patrols in these little towns around here.
really.
Um,
Oh,
got a
wow.
couple cops and a few state patrolmen, and it's just weird what people see up here. And the
Yeah.
best part is when police see something, they don't say anything.
No.
I was told by several policemen if they don't now everybody wears a body cam and everybody has a camera in their car.
Yeah.
If they don't catch it on the cameras or their body cams, they do not make a report. They will not make a report. So
Yeah.
they said they
That's
don't want to.
whenever they talk about the black cows.
Yeah,
That's what they call
yeah,
the Bigfoot black cow reports.
and yeah, they say, oh, I don't want to be running the rubber desk or sitting the rubber desk for the rest of my career.
Yeah.
And then
At
every
least
once in a
it's
while they get good documenting UFOs that out in Ohio.
Yeah.
don't know, was it 8 or 10 years ago when there's like the state patrolman and about 10 of these small town police departments were chasing that UFO.
Yes. Yeah, they
Yes, that
came
was a
right
really good one.
across.
Yeah, but this guy was ended up in Russia.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I was,
Dave lives in Oregon.
oh, yeah, I was yeah, it was about 75 maybe. um,
Yeah.
we were walking to a convenience store across from the house of me and my father, and this big green fireball come across the sky, and then it crashed and lit up the whole sky. And so what I read days later in the paper was that this thing actually crashed in Vietnam, but it didn't look like it. It's like, no, I just saw it come here, and I just saw the light sky light up, to the west there, and it's like that was it crashed in Vietnam, and was that bright? I couldn't understand what the heck. But there's a lot of weird stuff as
Yeah.
far as this area of Pennsylvania. Um, so the Seneca spiritual area basically runs from. So you take a line, you draw it from Erie, you take it over to Salamanca in the nation there, uh,
Mhm.
Seneca Nation, and then you draw that line down to short ways to Bradford. Then it's on an angle from Bradford over to Oil City area, then the Oil
Mhm.
City area over to Meadville, and Meadville back to Erie.
Yeah.
And that is their spiritual area. Lots of hauntings, lots of ghosts, lots of cryptozoological creatures
Yes.
in their culture.
Yeah.
So they've seen a lot of this stuff, and they don't know what you know. They just they documented all their stuff by word of mouth. So
Mhm.
we
Yeah, I
have
I get a lot of, Dogman reports from up around the, Meadville area.
yes, and I had so out of my reports, I think I'm up to maybe close to 9 or 10. I can't remember
Mhm.
Dogman reports off the Seneca Nation up here, which is
Mhm.
only about 8 miles away from my house. So I'm like, ugh. So that one
Yeah.
night I had something happen and I freaked myself out. I I did pull the gun out that night, come to think of it, but I had the wrong gun. um, I had a wood knockdown behind the house there, and it was summertime, and so I got my flare and I ran out, and I'm half crippled. I could barely walk. So I got in my Jeep, my open Jeep, and I run my Jeep down the bottom part of the yard, and I'm looking through the flare, and I see this um, black shadow in the flare moving. I
Nice.
love Seneca area of New York and people.
Yeah,
Yes, very beautiful up there.
it is.
And so I went and it was going away from me and said, "Hey, where are you going?" And it stopped and it turned around and it started coming towards me. And it was
Mhm.
getting closer and it was big and I don't know what it was. And I got scared. And all I had a little pocket pistol with me. And I'm thinking, I don't have enough pistol for whatever this thing is. And then all of a sudden, through my mind flashed, dog man, dog man, dog man.
Mm.
And I totally freaked out. And I come roaring up the driveway here, park the Jeep, and I come running through the house. And my wife's like, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't know. There's something down there, and I don't know what it is." So, yeah. So, but on the FLIR, unfortunately, I had on the color wheel setting, and you couldn't make anything out. And then that's when
Oh,
JP told me hot black or white black is
yeah.
the best way to capture
Yeah.
images. But
Yeah,
I
stay
didn't know
away
that.
from the colors. Yeah. Yeah, you don't learn that until you keep working with it.
Yeah. And the screen's so small, it's hard to,
Yeah.
but it's nice to know that that noise you heard next to you is nothing. I figure if
Hopefully.
it's big and black, I might have a problem, but if I don't see anything there, it's okay.
Yeah, right
I don't
behind your
think they could,
shoulder.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I know they cloak, but I don't know if they can cloak heat. But I have no idea. We'll find out, I'm sure.
Yeah, don't
But
know. Yeah, I've only caught, glimpses, in the FLIR, nothing, no entire bodies or anything.
I mean, I've seen more of the shadow people with my eyes than I've caught anything with the flare.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we have some stuff going here. Todd was up one year, a few years ago with us, with me. I took him up to Heritage Festival, and he spent a weekend here. And we come home that one night, and I said, "Well, Todd, I'm going to go in the shower." So he's messing around. Todd is always messing around in his truck, and he's in the back of his truck. And I walked in the door, and the door closed. And he said, "So I'm just gonna go in the bathroom." He comes running in before I even closed the door. He says, "I just had a wood knock." And I said, "You're bullshit." And he goes, "No, there was a wood knock." So he come out and we're looking around, clears and stuff. We don't see anything. I said, "Okay, let's do this again. I'm gonna go take a shower." And I come in and I open the door and I close it, but I was standing right there. As soon as I close the door, thwack, we hear this wood knock. I said, "I'll be damned." And that's
Oh,
right at the corner of my yard there,
oh,
And I found imprints there before.
yeah.
And so they follow the little streams coming off the mountains here and the gullies. They like hiding in those gullies and sneaking around in those gullies coming down the hill, across the road. And I got a big swamp down here. I got 80 acres. 23 is tillable, and the rest is the Great Akeley Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
So the swamp is the best way to describe it. What's it? Dagobah? What is that? Swamp
Oh,
Yoda?
Dagobah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in
You go
Star
back.
Wars.
You go back into that. Yeah, you go back into that swamp, and there's a part of that swamp that looks just like that.
Oh my, that's pretty
Yeah,
desolate.
big blue hand behind it. What are
More.
ours? Last night, more handprints next to that big blue. Yeah, I mean they're down there, and Todd's doing this different stuff and
Yeah.
got himself in trouble. He got some. I don't know what he put on the windows the last time, but boy, where somebody was really mad at him.
Oh, oh, geez. Oh, oh, you're
Oh
doing
yeah, I
a
forgot about that one.
house?
So we're
Huh?
here in my backyard. So we did that Ohio Howl where one
Yeah,
starts and the other one finishes it. And we did
yeah.
it and we just got done doing it and we had an answering Ohio Howl down the valley from us.
You do
I
realize
would say
that's
it
a
was about a mile
challenge.
away.
You
It was
you do
really
realize
cool.
that's a challenge call, you realize.
That's all right. I run in the house like they don't want to come in here. Let's just say they don't want to come in here. Not what they want to do. But it was really really cool and it's just really weird. Who used Bigfoot to attend? Several Native American cultures have Bigfoot that attend ceremonies. There's
Yeah.
also I'm trying to Onondaga. I can't remember which. There's an Indian tribe that has a Bigfoot song, and um it's calling the Bigfoot in. I had my I'm trying to think what Indian tribe. He's not Seneca. It's from out west, in the Minnesota area. I can't remember now, but he sang that song. What you got, babe? The granddaughter's giving me. Is this duck for my truck? Yeah. Well, thank you. Or for my Jeep. Yeah. He can ride in the truck too, can he?
Mm.
Good night, honey. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Oh boy. Yeah, I got a duck. Yay.
Aw.
Jeep duck. Yeah. It even got a straw hat like Grandpa wears. See that?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's got to go in my Jeep. And the trouble is, by keeping a Jeep, the darn crows might steal it. You can put it in my truck though.
Yeah, you
But
gotta glue them down.
yeah, them crows will tear up the dashboard though. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean the Seneca up here have the they have the legend of the Battle of the Stone Giants, where they fought with the Bigfoot, and several tribes have that a story about that too.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah, the
then
Cherokee have a booger dance and wear
Cherokee, yeah, they
masks.
had that one
Yeah.
story was on, I don't know, the internet, that they said it was a Cherokee story where they were abducting people for food,
Yeah.
and they had that war. It was back in the 1840s or something with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a guy out in look up.
Yeah, Janasqua,
Yeah,
stone giant.
that's top over here. It was Top Hat.
Yeah.
Yep. So Top Hat was a Sasquatch that used to cannibalize people, and he wore a Lincoln hat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And I know a girl that's seen Top Hat about 20 years ago when she was a little girl on their property, and up here by the Allegheny National, well, just out of the Allegheny National Forest, but just west of the Kinzua Dam Reservoir there. And she's the only white person that I ever heard that saw him. It's usually native people that see he haunts the native people.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, she doesn't have any native in her. And I asked her, actually, her mother told me the story. And the best part of it is right where we have our festival there, the Heritage Festival.
Mm-hmm.
It was right next to that. um,
Oh,
yeah, we had a little person sighting here last summer by a couple of the attendees that were camping overnight. There's
right.
a hill which we believe, and it's not official because everybody keeps everything quiet. I think it is a burial mound. It's an unnatural looking hill in this cow pasture or a horse. Those horses there now, and it definitely looks like a mound, like a man-made mound, just the way it's shaped. And
Is
that's
that the
where
one
spirit
where,
lights are. The spirit lights are up there. I tell
is that
everybody
the
that
one where a voice was heard
uh,
calling?
there's several instances of that, but some of the people that hear voices are my friends that are the clairvoyant slash spiritual people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I have one that I hang around with, and I've been wanting her to go to our research site for a while now.
Yeah.
Uh, she's the only one that when I feel something, she feels it too, and we'll look at each other because but she is light years ahead of me. I don't know, just most of the people that I know that are real clairvoyant are usually women,
Mm-hmm.
and they already have the women's intuition thing times 10 as big as what it is. And so I look at her, and if she's running, I'm right behind her. We haven't been chased out by anything yet, but we experienced a lot of stuff together. A couple of things up at the festival grounds. There's a shaman up there that Todd met, our friend Paul, and that man is very special.
Yeah.
I've never felt we had a spooky episode over there with so we built a longhouse, and so we use it for like a museum. You go in there, and we have artifacts and stuff in there. So one of our friends in the area, longtime friends, lived in this area, had a bunch of Native American artifacts, and he passed, so his daughter brought him up there and let us use them for display. And it was kind of weird. This is a good paranormal one here. So I had was storytelling and in there, and I was talking to actually was a group of girls from the Seneca school up there, and I was telling them some of the legends and stuff, which they don't. It's like our schools; they don't teach our history either, you know.
Yeah.
I was telling them some stuff, and I'm standing there, and one of our friends, who's an amateur archaeologist, came in because she just found out that we got some new artifacts there. So she come over, and she's behind me, looking at the artifacts on the table behind me, and I'm talking to these girls, and all of a sudden she just leaves suddenly, like, what's going on? So I'm there talking to the girls. Here comes our friend, the shaman, in. He goes behind me and he's rifling through this stuff. And all of a sudden, I had a jolt. Basically, from the tip of my toes to the top of my head, felt like a electrical shock. And I actually jumped.
Mm.
And I looked at the girls. I said, "Did any of you guys feel that?" And they thought I was part of my presentation, and they laughed.
Oh.
Well, thank you for the storytelling, and they leave. So I'm standing there watching them leave, like, what the heck did I just feel? And the shaman taps me on my shoulder, and I turn around. He says, "So you're a spiritual person, huh?" And I says, "Yeah." "You're talking about ghosts and stuff?" "Yeah, I have some experiences with them." He says, "So you were there talking, and when I opened up this box like this, you jumped." And I said, and I got not a strong feeling, but I got a feeling again. I go, "What is that?" He says, "Look at it." I'm looking at it. So it was some stone artifacts, but mixed in there was basically a right hand.
Mhm.
He must have picked it up when he was doing, I don't think he realized what it was either. The guy that got it, that originally picked it up. So it was actually a hand in that box. And so he goes, "Are you all right?" And I says, "That really shook me up. It's got kind of creepy feeling and it just won't go away." So he did a cleansing ceremony on me after the festival was over. So he says, "Hold my hands." We're standing there. And so he had his palms out, or up, palms, arms out, palms up. He said, "Place
Yeah.
your hands, palms down into mine." So I did. That was the first time I ever experienced somebody drawing power through me. I could feel like electrical tingling through my arms into my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying a prayer in Seneca, and he's done. And he says, "How do you feel?" And I said, "I feel okay now." I said, "What did you do?" He said, "I took the negative energy away from you, and I'll be right back." And I watched him, and he walked off in the woods, and he kind of like shrugged and threw it off and was saying some prayers and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
got his tobacco out and all this. I said, "What'd you just do?" He says, "I took that negative energy from you into me, and I had to ground it. I had to get rid of it."
Yeah.
And it's like, I've never seen anything like that. I never felt anything like that.
Mm.
So one of my friends that I want to bring up, she's like that. She has that electrical feeling with her hands when she, I always think it's like, you ever see those holy roller healers, like Jesus heals you, and they fall
Yeah.
down.
Yes.
I think some of those people might be real because there's something there. There's some sort of power, or I don't know what it is. Static
Yeah.
electricity. I don't know. I have no idea. Don't know.
Yeah.
But
Who knows? Always a possibility.
yep. And that's why Todd's not ghost busting no more, because he had some bad experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You don't want to fiddle around with that.
no, and I've never ran into a bad spirit. All my
Mhm.
ghosts and stuff have been kind of weird and scary, but nothing like he had to go through. But he was a little bit more into it than us.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so
Yeah. I used to watch those TV shows and everything. And um, I know one evening I was watching a marathon, and there were some creepy vibes going on in the house, and my dog started growling. She was facing the other room, just looking, staring at something in the other room, and just growling at something. And I immediately, shut the TV off and started praying. And uh, it, I had recently picked up some antiques, so there must have been something attached
yeah, something
to one of
glommed
the
onto it.
antiques. Yeah. So I sold a couple pieces and nothing else happened.
Yeah, that happens a lot actually. I hear a lot
Yeah.
of people talking about that. And yeah. I had spirit light. One of my favorite stories is a spirit light that was in the house here down in our basement.
Mm.
So we're on the edge of the Chautauqua Creek, the valley that comes down. And when the what do you call it? The glacier was here, it melted, and this whole valley here was actually a lake. So where my house is on a bench coming down the hill. The hill comes down in benches. They drop 40 or 50 feet at a time, just coming down, and there's a bench, and it goes down again.
Mhm.
So I was told by a geologist that these are beaches, and so the wife has found several artifacts on the bench that the house is on, and that's where we see the spirit like activity north of our house. And it's on that bench, and she found several tools that I have downstairs in a window box, and there with
Okay, you
with
keep
a
freezing up.
for vacation. I don't I don't know what I'm doing. Let me see. 65%. I'm not moving the vehicle. Yeah, I'm not moving the. I'm not moving the
Yeah, might just be the
computer thing. I don't know
signal.
what's going on. I'm talking about spirit lights. It's probably them. So we had so the dog was on a futon. I had my chair downstairs sitting by the basement door in case he got sick, so I can run him right out.
Whoop. Oh, we lost Dave. Oh. Yeah, we lost Dave. Yeah, apparently he was losing signal or something was going on there. Hopefully he'll jump back. Oh, okay, here he is. He's coming. He's trying to come in. Let's see. Dave, I see where you're trying. There you are. Okay.
I told you the spirit lights. They're the spirits. It,
Yep. Yep.
that's funny. So the dog is alerting on something, So I put my glasses on, and he's like feeling his ears, and he's looking across the basement. And I look down around the corner of the basement there, and I see a light. And I
Mhm.
thought it was a flashlight because it was lighting up the room. What's the wife doing? You know. So I leaned forward in my bed and looked, and here's a spirit light about 3 or 4 inches off the floor. It was like a greenish blue color, and it went right into the across the floor and went disappeared right into the wall.
Oh.
And then next morning when the wife got up, I says, "Hey, we got spirit lights in the house now, and they're looking for those tools. And when they come in again, I'm sending them upstairs to you."
Oh, geez.
So
Are other people in your house?
there's nobody else, nobody online.
Okay.
No,
Nobody
the,
else
the my
online.
everybody's going to bed here. I'm still up. Yeah, who knows?
Hmm. Yeah, who knows? But you tell you what, Dave, it's a little after 11 and you're freezing up again.
Yep. I can-
And
Okay.
so how about we close this
Uh,
down for the
uh,
evening?
roll. That would be good. So the
Yeah.
wife says yes, yes. All these doors. So, yeah. Well, thank you, and
You're
hopefully we
welcome.
can do this again.
Yes, we'll get
You
you
might have
back
to wait till
on.
my daughter's up here. Yes, but
Maybe ask your daughter, maybe get a Wi-Fi booster or something, or maybe sit closer to I don't know, router or something.
Tower. We have there's a tower on top of the mountain up here. Go sit under the tower.
There you go.
But yeah,
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
yeah,
Okay.
for this
Alrighty.
test
Well,
run, I think that
well,
we've
I'll
done
be in
pretty
touch.
well.
Yeah,
And
how long we've been on there? Over an hour.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But we'll get you back on,
Yeah.
and
All right.
you have a good evening, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah, you were bugging me about it, and I'm thinking, well, this is a good time to do it. My daughter's
Yes,
up here, so she can help me. And
yes.
like the wife said, you're not going to be able to do this yourself.
I don't
But
think so.
yeah, it was kind of weird, but
Well, at least now you know how to do it.
well, who knows? Allegedly, yeah. Keep hammering.
Okay, you're froze up again.
Yeah.
Yep, you're
All
you're
right,
froze
bye
up. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
bye.
All right, guys. Fantastic evening. This turned out to be, a complete surprise. Uh, I was relaxing a little bit earlier in front of the TV. Dave gave me a call, and um, because I had been bugging him that I've been wanting them on, and he said, "Well, his daughter's visiting. Let's get her to show him how to come on." And I said, "All right, we'll do it." I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I really do. And yeah, we'll definitely get Dave back on, and maybe you know he can get a Wi-Fi booster or go to an area where there's a little bit better signal. Who knows? It could also be the weather. Who knows? But yeah, we've got a pretty good team here. That there's myself. Well, of course, the at our research area, there's R&R, our wonderful elderly couple that the Bigfoot hang around their property. But Dave he's the OP, and got myself and JP and Todd, and between all of us, we're learning. Well, we're learning about these, crazy, magnificent creatures, and as you can see, between all of us, we're sharing with you what we are learning. Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa Bigfoot, wonderful couple. We love them, and yeah, and as you see on Todd's channel, and and myself telling stories, and JP last night telling stories about what's going on, and then tonight with Dave, we are sharing what we are learning, and I hope that you are learning also right along with us, and but I do appreciate all of you coming in and listening and watching, and it's late. I'm tired. I've been trying to hide a few yawns there. Yeah, Renee, it's Bigfoot New York Todd, the same way that you see it written there. No spaces, just Bigfoot New York Todd, NY Todd. And just type that into the YouTube search bar, and that'll come up. But yeah, subscribe to his channel, and the other one, to subscribe to is Seeking Ontario's Bigfoot. That is JP's channel. And he has a lot of things from his research up in Ontario, Canada. They have a former teammate of ours who unfortunately Todd didn't get to meet, but she backed out of after a traumatic experience with Bigfoot. She no longer researches, but they have her on one of their episodes talking about her experience, what happened. So yeah, get in on Seeking Ontario's Bigfoot and Bigfoot NY Todd, all one word, no spaces. But yeah, Todd, that's the way it's. The only way I've been able to find your channel is no spaces, just Bigfoot NY Todd, no spaces in between. Thank you, Ken. I do appreciate it very much. Yeah, please, keep. I appreciate the prayers, and yeah, my sister, keep her in your prayers. A couple friends, along with a little twisted. She posted in here last night that she needs some prayers. Kumbo and his wife Sandy, and keep Todd in your prayers also. There's a lot of us going through some issues, and so and we'll keep you in our prayers also. All of you, because life is hard. Believe me, I know. But anyway, guys, I'm going to shut this down now. This was, honest to God, this is, I'm totally unprepared for this. Oh, my sinuses are bothering me. I'm really getting clogged up. So, thank you guys. I'm going to close it down. Love you. God bless. And Monkey Wench out. Bye-bye.